Welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We are continuing forward with our double ultimate battle. Right now it is tied up 1-1, and we're going to get the other two players in starting here today. Scan versus Absolute on Dominator is going to be our third set, so without further ado, let's start the game. We have here in the top left, my favorite, your favorite, it is Scan. An absolutely stellar ASL season from him. Round of 16. Very, very impressive. Looking down at the bottom center-ish location, this is, of course, Absolute. Afterloot. This is Absolute. Absolute, a very, very strong, I guess you'd call him amateur Zerg. I guess he's, yeah, like he's done very well in ACS. We haven't really seen him, as far as I can remember, he hasn't been in ASL as of yet. He's the only player out of the four that haven't. But honestly, not really like a much lower level than the other players. Like, I put him pretty similar to DDasik as far as the levels go. And I would put, like, probably Scan just slightly above Bishop and Bishop slightly above DDasik, right? Like, so I do think this is a bit Terran favored, but we'll see how that ends up going. The metagame right now definitely leans towards Zerg. But yeah, taking a look, it's a center 8 racks here from Scan. Kind of an interesting choice. And it is a pool first. So this might be a difficult game for Scan. If you go center 8 racks and your opponent goes pool first, and this is an overpool specifically, which has become very, very popular. Sulky's been doing this every single game against Terran just so you can't ever kill him with center racks. But this generally gives you a big advantage against a center 8 racks. It's not completely unplayable. If you can kind of like distract the Lings and get your Vulture out, you can still be okay as Scan, kind of, but the odds of the Marines doing any damage is almost 0. And that's obviously a huge problem. And there's also, of course, a chance that you just kind of die to this. So right now, he's actually saving a bunch of larvae. Okay, 2 Lings. 4 Lings. Scan's already sad because he sees the timing of that hatch. And 6 Lings. So this is like perfect, I would say, for Absolute. He's definitely going to have a bit of an advantage here. Well, not just a bit. It's pretty bad. Like if you go center racks and they go pool first, man, the odds of you getting any damage is almost 0. You have to rely on things like catching them off guard. Like Scan right now is watching how many Lings hatch, and he's going to see 6 and be like, damn it, this is really tough. And in fact, he's going to build the factory on the side of his base because he wants when the Lings to come in to not see the factory. This is going to turn into a very dirty game very, very quickly. So the Lings are actually going to attack, and they can deal a lot of damage, but notice how Scan instantly is going to attack as well. He's going to see if, well, are the Lings going to come back? Maybe he can get a ton of counter damage with these 4 Marines. Really, Scan has a great idea as to what Absolute is doing, but Absolute has no idea what Scan doing until right now. So he's going to be able to kill this first Ling pretty easily. Oh my god, he's going to miss it. He actually can't quite kill that Overlord. If he had started immediately when he got in range, he would have just barely killed it. But he's going to pull the trigger super fast because he knows other Lings are being made. And he knows that he needs to try to get some damage. Now, Absolute actually did not attack. He brought the Lings back, but it's not going to be in time. And this bunker is in range of the hatch. So, that is an issue. This is something we saw that it felt like Bishop was kind of weird how he hadn't done this. But he sets this up. There's a lot of Zerglings right now. And he's going to be able to do like a surround. Now, there is a second bunker. This is very popular to try to pop the Marines into the second bunker. Now, let's see. He comes in with a ton of Zerglings right now and does surround that. There was repair going on, and yeah, has to just cancel out that second one as well. And so that's like a very solid hold here from Absolute. Now the Vulture is coming down, and the Vulture is going to be a bit of a problem. I kind of feel like he should have just attacked with the Zerglings. Like, it's a center racks. Right? And he already had Lings making. I don't know. We'll see how this ends up playing out, but it seems like Scan is getting himself into a fine position now. Even though his Marines didn't do too much, well, they did do a lot because they made the Zerglings turn around. So even though his opponent had a build that counters technically what Scan is doing, it hasn't really worked out. And in fact, you know, we can see here, he's already got his starport up. He's got a couple vultures in there, picking off these lings. Like, this looks pretty decent for Scan. 18 workers to 10. Now, there are a lot of Hydras being made, and the Hydras kind of counter everything that Scan's making right now. There is a bunker coming up, which, you know, that's... If your opponent's going to start getting cheesy aggressive, this is going to be what saves you. The couple of vultures going around the map right now. He doesn't want these to get caught. He wants to try to sneak them in and see if he can get something done. And, of course, the Wraith is going to do scouting and hopefully kill some overlords here for Scan. Now, the couple of vultures, yeah, he's going to... I think what he's going to do is try to pull the Hydras with the Wraith and then run in with the vultures, perhaps. Yeah, it's not going to quite work. It's not quite. Like, I guess he's going to get a few drones, and the vultures aren't going to scale any better than what they're at right now. Oh, get it. Yep. So he gets, like, was that 3 drones, I think? It was 2 to 3 drones for the 2 vultures. I think that's totally fine. I think that's worth. Like, you know, you might live in a world where you're like, well, why not, you know, maybe get spider mines or something and set up defensively. It's like, yeah, okay, but, you know, your opponent's already very, very low on drones. And, you know, to just exacerbate that a little bit is very good for the 2 vultures, which, again, are not going to scale really well at all. Even though he is making some more vultures here, it's for a dropship. And the fact that you lost those vultures, your opponent might think, like, oh, is he going to go dropship? You know, is he going to spend more money on vultures at this point? And it's hard to say. Range here on the way for these Hydras. They do have speed and some... Oh, wow. Dude, Hydra run-bys are never good. Well, maybe they will be this time. Absolute actually doing a great job here. Ooh, that was some good micro from Scan. Pulls back the very red Marine and lets the other one continue to attack. The 2 Hydras coming in, going to try to pick off this Wraith. Oh, you do not want to lose a Wraith for that reason. And this picks up the 1 Vulture. There's only 1 Vulture for the dropship. That's so funny. Science facility is up, so he's making a science vessel now. Really just like Hydra Zergling kind of counter the type of army his opponent has, but he doesn't have a lot of production. He doesn't have a lot of drones yet. So the single Vulture gets in. No speed or anything, but we'll see how many drones he can get. None, maybe? I think he'll get 1. No, not quite. Not quite. You know, obviously if he has 2 in there, he does a lot better, but such is life. Scan... I think he's just going to prepare for an all-in, basically. And look at this. Notice this. This is an empty dropship that he flies in. And I think he's trying to, like, scare his opponent. But right now, with the Hydras moving across the map, he can't waste time microing this. He needs to make sure, for instance, that he's got a lot of SCVs up here. Honestly, he should be pulling more. Because this is, like, the one decent chance. If these run up and, like, pop a bunker really quick, you might be able to pull this game back from the brink of destruction. But I think Scan's in a very good spot with this many SCVs. Yeah, and he does get plenty up, as you can see. He'll break through the first bunker, but he won't break through the second. And now a Siege Tank is out as well. And you can see he runs up and he's just targeting down SCVs here. Gets the one building the command center. He's just killing whatever SCVs that he can. And he's not going to have enough left to break through everything. So... really unfortunate there. Spends a lot of those Hydras. The dropship going to fly in and just get a little bit of a scout done. And he'll find, yeah, there is carapace. Like, this is... the theory behind this is actually very good from Absolute. I actually thought one of the most interesting metas, and it was when 111 was around, which is actually technically what Scan is doing here. Where it's like 1 Rax, 1 starport, 1 siege tank. And what you do is you rush up, you get your science vessel out, you get siege tanks going, and then you... kind of backload your macro. You throw down a bunch of extra barracks and you pump out your Marine medic, and it gives you this very high-tech army, but it's smaller. And so at one point, the metagame became like get +1 carapace and just have like a bunch of stuff. Just like kind of out macro your opponent. And like it actually works really, really well. Like, I've seen plenty of pro games where that's worked. It's worked in games that I've played as well, where it's like, yeah, Terran Army is very technical and good. So it beats, like, kind of a standard Zerg army where you're, like, relying on things like Mutalisks with great micro or a few well-placed lurkers. But what it doesn't do well is fight off against, like, mass +1 carapace, like Hydra, Ling, Lurker. You know, just, like, a bunch of stuff. Now... Obviously, he hasn't had time to make that bunch of stuff. He runs up and actually will pick off a siege tank, which is a great pickoff. This army looking much weaker right now. In fact, well, it's the amount of lings he's making. He actually has potential to crush this. If he crushes that, the game might actually turn into a really interesting position. Right now, though, no, if he walks up with this isn't going to work. I think he's just like, oh, damn, that bunker's going to finish before I can hit. But I think, like, as these lings come out, he just has to go. And, yeah, the bunker's going to finish literally just in the nick of time. And he has a D-Matrix as well. Absolute was so close to breaking that. He was so close. He was, like, 3 seconds. If he was 3 seconds earlier, he would have crushed everything. That's crazy. Scan just barely getting his bunker up in time. Really well done from him. Dropship's still kind of flying around. It's a very good drone count. There are lurkers coming up, but there's like the technical lurker play here is going to be very, very weak because it's bunker, siege tank, science vessels. I don't actually know if there's a radiate yet, but it doesn't really matter. D-Matrix will do enough here. Plenty of bunkers being made. Like, just a great position Scan has gotten himself into here. All right, runs up with those lurkers. He's going to try to break through. No repair happening here, and he does stop this bunker from finishing. Yeah, Stim Marines come up. He will pull the lurkers back. I feel like this is a game where you wish you had one more hatchery. If he just, like, if he also had 8 lings here, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you can break that. I think he's just barely going to not do it here. So, yeah, you see he gets double D-Matrix down here. You see, yeah, seriously, just a handful of lings. This has been, like, the closest ever to absolute breaking out. Like, every single time something's happened, he's almost crushed it and just barely not. And you can see how a build like this could go completely wrong for Scan. He's had great execution. He's been very on top of moving forward. He's, like, kept these great spots. I love the fact that he's utilizing Defense Matrix. He doesn't even have his Irradiate yet, even. Yeah, putting extra pressure on by hitting this hatch, that will take a little bit. Burrows those lurkers. Really good putting the higher health one in front to tank a little bit for those Marines. Of course, there is no +1 for them. And just not enough. I think that's it. I think that's game. GG. Let's go on to game number 4. So as we get into game number 4, right now the Terrans do lead 2-1. Definitely some very aggressive plays so far from them. A good way, I guess, to start a big series is to get your opponent kind of defensively on the back foot. But now we have Scan going for a Wallen on his natural here on Polestar. Looking up at his opponent's base, here's the thing. Like, this pairs well with going racks first a lot. So basically, if you go for an overpool or a 9-pool, the Wallen, as long as you see it coming, you stomp it. Like, it doesn't do anything. You don't need a bunker. You don't need that many Marines. You just need to, like, micro a little bit and have your SCVs in position. And it just stops the pool first dead. And there's no real aggressive possibilities for Zerg. So if you kind of force them into playing more timidly with pool first plays, and then you go into plays like walled expansions, then, you know, that's an area where you start to just gain an advantage by the tone that you set. Now, that being said, Absolute here goes hatch first. He's not afraid. He doesn't find this that daunting. And in fact, he went through the center, as you can see, the scout path with that drone. So he has just checked and made sure it's like, okay, are there center barracks? I need to be aware of that. That's definitely something that we're seeing a lot from these guys. And this drone should just go home at this point. And there's no real... I mean, when I see that too much... It's like, dude, okay, this is a higher percentage of your economy than this is of Scan's economy. Do we need to make sure that these units all have 45 health or whatever? It really, like, I don't know, man. Maybe people look at that and think, oh, the mutas can kill more easily later or something like that. I don't think that should be done as much. This is not a big thing, but... Sometimes I see it too much, and I'm like, I don't think that's the way to go about it. Anyways, this is actually a 3-hatch play from Absolute, which is a little bit surprising. 3-hatch hasn't really completely re-entered the metagame yet, despite how long 2-hatch has been out there and been the meta standard. 2-hatch is still the meta standard. I think it's too flexible. There's so many different ways to do 2-hatch, and just forcing Terran to make sure that they have enough defense for those initial Mutalisks, to make sure that they have the scan timing to even make sure that it's Mutalisk. Those are really important things. But 3-hatch has 3-hatch plays are very good against all the builds that Terran does against 2-hatch. Well, I get maybe not the +1 attack rushes. Those are basically the same against everything. But yeah, I want to throw that out there. I think that's kind of interesting. And that the metagame hasn't shifted specifically. I think, again, it's just due to the overall power of 2-hatch being so good that you don't really need a metagame shift, even though you'll have a slightly bigger edge against many common builds. But the thing is, Terran gets to scout that a lot of times anyways and can react with their build. And in fact, Scan is doing that here. Notice how he's gone for a very fast factory here. And in fact, he might... Dude, we're going to get multiple mech games in this series. I love it already. 2 factories on the way. So this is a more common mech opener for right now. We saw the Bishop game where he just opened with the factory and, you know, Zerg scouts that right away. Right now, when we see mech plays, generally, they look closer to this, where it looks like it's a Marine opener. And by the way, these are walking around right now. These are walking around making sure an Overlord doesn't pop down. He doesn't want an Overlord here to spot that he's not making Marines and to spot whether the gas is taken quickly or not. So he was just looking for that and trying to keep that out of there, basically. Now, it looks to me like this is crazy Zerg that he's going for. And in my opinion, this is the #1 3-hatch opener right now. This is such a good build. Like, 3-hatch Crazy Zerg is one of the scariest things. But mech literally could not care less if you're trying to go Crazy Zerg. In fact, Crazy Zerg doesn't do anything against mech. The mech doesn't care if you have a carapace upgrade. It doesn't care if you go ultras. In fact, please go ultras. So Scan's build right now definitely is doing very well against his opponent. It's not that the carapace upgrade will be completely useless, but yeah, just not very useful. So some speedlings coming down. He's going to be able to push this Vulture back, and with the Sunken finishing up, easy kill. Just loses a few links, no biggie. +1 attack already on the way. Missiles already on the way. Plenty of Goliaths being made. The Spire still coming up, and we don't have a third base being taken yet. But the drone is going out to take it. It looks like it'll... I wouldn't be surprised if it takes this. For Crazy Zerg plays, this is a very popular third base. But it looks like he will go towards top right. The thing is, he already saw the Vulture, so it should be this base, not this base. This base is easier and quicker to push with mech than this base is. So yeah, he's going to send that up there. This is actually incredibly important. I learned very, very painfully. Goliaths can't go up and down here. Well, they can technically, but the AI is so terrible trying to go between eggs when you're under attack that you can literally just lose the game. Notice how they barely... Yeah, see that? Perfect. Thank you, Scan, for the dunk there off my alley-oop of explaining that. But you have to kill an egg. You could... I mean, 2 is better, but you have to kill an egg because the Goliaths just bump into each other and just won't go down the ramp quickly. It's really, really painful. So he does kill that 1 egg off. That's going to give him a lot of room to rotate. Starport on the way. Mutalisks finally coming out. Lots of drones right now. 33 drones this early in the game is really quite impressive. +1 Muta Carapace and Hydra's speed on the way. So he definitely recognizes what's going on from Scan. Well, he saw a Vulture. I don't know if he actually saw the Goliaths yet. He'll see them now. The thing is, I was explaining in a previous game about how +1 armor and Hydraling Lurker is like very good against 1-1-1 builds. This could have been 1-1-1 build. It's not. Still, you know, the Carapace upgrade for the Mutas. That might have been an anti-Valkyrie nod for if it was a 1-1-1. But anyways, it's a Goliath build. He is getting Starport, so this is very different from the build that we saw from Bishop earlier. And remember, I was talking about how you can go Science Vessels with Goliaths, but you can't go Valkyries. And if you go up into the potential of Science Vessels, or even just more upgrades, you go into Vultures. And you can see he's getting Vulture speed. He's making a few Vultures here. You basically do that to save gas, to put some pressure on your opponent with some harassment. And yeah, that's it works out very, very well, where you can harass some with the vultures, get your upgrades or your science vessels or whatever it is that you want tech-wise, and you still have enough anti-air to kind of stay alive. And he's trying to actually catch some of this. It's actually, from Absolute, it's a pretty quick switch into Hydras. Quicker than a lot of games that we see. Like, he didn't make that many mutas. He made, like, maybe a group of mutas. And Scan has basically shut that down completely. They really haven't done very much. Second armory is on the way. Somewhere. There it is. We're moving some of these eggs for easier army movement. And Vulture speed is done. And he's got like 5 Vultures out. +2 attack gets started. And I'm sure he'll start that +1 armor. There it is. So going for that very quick 2-1. We did see a game on this channel recently from Royal that looked somewhat similar to this. Gonna run those Vultures up towards the top right. He actually pulls this one back because this one could have been killed with moving shot. The other two just took a lot of damage. And mutas go to try to save any drones up here. They actually hide on the side, so some good moves. And he has expanded to the other side as well. And oh my god, I don't know how he slipped that in, but gets a couple of Vultures in here. And as soon as they have that +1 attack, it kind of negates the +1 armor. Because a +1 attack actually gives +2 attack. But it's a +1 upgrade. Okay, so very good job reducing that drone count a little bit. But having both corner bases does make this a little bit tricky for Scan. It doesn't seem like this is a game where he can, how do I put this? Like, end the game with much speed. Right now, he's just kind of making Vultures. He's getting upgrades. He's getting a Radiate. So he's playing towards a much bigger macro game. There's the 3rd command center. He's adding the factories as well. He'll probably go for 2 more add-ons relatively soon here after he gets the vessels going and he's started the factories. So it's like 8 factory, which is really good, and you definitely want at least 2 add-on siege tank. Probably the 3rd add-on will come after he lands this and starts 3-2. Looking over at Absolute's side of the map, let's take a look here. He's still on layer tech, and it looks like he is getting Overlord movement. That might be for mines, that might be for scouting, but also he could be setting up for drops. And he is remaking a lot of Mutalisks. So this might be the case where he's shown Hydras. That can be a really strong move. If you're going Hydras for a while, the Goliath count isn't too high, you can switch back suddenly into Mutalisks and catch the tanks off guard. But it does, this particular game, that's not going to work. There's already a vessel out with a Radiate. I don't know how many he's going to end up making. Like, he's pretty tight on gas right now. Maybe more after he gets this one going. And look at this. He's actually throwing up a lot of missile turrets. So this is like Scan nodding towards the possibility of drop and the possibility of muta. Another evolution chamber coming up. Really, really good drone count. 53 drones across 4 bases. Really good saturation as well. Scan not really poking out with the Vultures very much. Does feel like he might be able to do that just slightly more than he is. His 2-1 is about to finish. He has that one very crucial irradiate if he needs it. This is a very large group of mutas. So that's 11 and 9. So he's got 20. 20 Mutalisks ready to fly in with that +1 carapace. Gonna just jump into the natural. So he's going to bring back his Goliaths as well as irradiate. Jumping on an armory, but actually the armory is, this one is not upgrading. That was the +1 armor and it's already done. All right, gets a pretty decent irradiate off and actually uses the irradiate against Terran. Really, really well done. And then will pull back those mutas. That seemed pretty good. That seemed pretty reasonable there. Like, considering I didn't like the switch it back into mutas at this time, but Scan actually gets his own counterplay off. He gets some Vultures in and will definitely kill a few drones. But still, 49 drones against 57 SCVs. It's not bad for Terran. Or not bad for Zerg either, really. It's like both of them still have functional economies. No one's taken so much damage that they're dead. Scan definitely is going to want to make a few more workers, Absolute as well. Looking back here, Hive has been started. No Queen Energy upgrade. Generally, in these bigger macro games, you do see Queen Energy first. If you are going to go for Queens, that is. Now, this is a very scary push. 145 supply here for Scan, just pushing forward. Muta's thinking about a counterattack, but actually do turn around. There is another Irradiate waiting, so that's going to make it even tougher. Is he hitting a perfect timing here? Looks like the Hydras are still on low ground, so this is a bit of an issue for Absolute. Can't really attack up into this, that's for sure. This will get absolutely slaughtered. In fact, even without siege mode, this army wins. He definitely needs to pull more together. And you can see he's got a ton more units, just not there right now. So he brings these mutas forward. I don't think Scan is going to take the bait there. And there you go. He does throw an Irradiate down, but that one's actually already on the edge. So that one will be dealt with pretty quickly. The Mutalisks, I don't think there's enough to actually deal with these Goliaths. So they are taking out pretty much every single muta. I think that's going to be it. More mutas and Hydras being made. So, like, kind of mixing it in. I guess, you know what? If he makes one more big group of mutas and kills these Goliaths, he might be able to just clear the tanks. And then he's got 2 more bases coming. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe from there you start to get a position where you could take this game through, like, a tempo win. It just doesn't feel too likely right now. He's taking a ton of damage here on the natural. Drone count definitely dropping. Units rallying out and getting killed very quickly indeed. More mutas are coming in from some of these fringe bases. Trying to kill off the rest of these Goliaths here. A few more Goliaths have come up for Scan, though, unfortunately, here for Absolute. They shoot up and down, folks. The Goliaths doing just a wonderful job there against the Mutalisks. Just enough that he can't do it. And the thing is, he's making some Hydras now. Honestly, he just needs to stay on mutas. There's only 3 Goliaths left. It's really probably his only chance left is to still utilize the mutas to kill this off, even though it really doesn't feel very good right now. The Hydras being made, I just don't see them ever breaking through what's left. And, like, there's a lot of mines. Okay, that's it. So we do have Terran leading. GG.